Hello and welcome to the iFox with Juice podcast. I am your host, Juice. I'm here with my co-host, Rina Parsegan. Before we get started, just a quick note. This isn't going to be like the past two episodes. We decided to go a little bit more lighthearted in this one, and since it's Thanksgiving week, we decided to not make it as long and just kind of bullshit around with a few topics. So it's not going to be as fight heavy, at least not as news and preview prediction heavy. We're just going to have some fun with some of the topics we're going to talk about right now. So here's my co-host, Rina Parsegan. Rina, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing? What is up, everybody?
So yeah, I'm doing good over here. Luckily, no more fires. It doesn't seem in Cali. Definitely not here, and it seems like it's good on your side too, right?
Yeah, definitely getting better. We have storms. Actually started raining today. The storm is definitely going to help clear out the smoke and whatnot, and hopefully some relief with the fire. So yeah, it's definitely something that we needed.
Yes. Well, better things have come our way, so good for
Hmm.
the state of Cali.
Yep.
So anyway, we're gonna talk really quickly about some of the UFC fights. So we're gonna do a quick recap of last week's fights in case you all guys missed it. UFC Argentina, Magny versus Ponzinibbio. We'd done predictions for Calvillo versus Botelho, Elkins versus Lamas, and the main event, Magny versus Ponzinibbio. So Reen and I both ended up picking Botelho against Calvillo. We were both wrong on that one. Calvillo got a first round submission. Um, pretty decent fight. Pretty decent fight. And she ended up getting the win, which I'm not too happy about, only because I think it's gonna do her harm in the long run. But that's for another time. Ricardo Lamas ended up TKOing Darren Elkins, another pick that I think I don't know. Did we? I'm starting to forget. I got to listen back to last week's episode. Did we pick Lamas or Elkins?
I picked Llamas by decision because you
Yeah,
can't put Elkins away. Nobody can. I thought it would go to distance, but
yeah.
this
I
time
think
it
I thought.
happened.
I think I said the same thing too. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with Lamas, and I'll make sure on that. Make sure that we didn't go the other way on that one. But I know that the one that we sided with was Magni and Ponzinibbio, and I was right on this one. Ponzinibbio won. Um, I thought he'd win a decision, although I didn't rule out a knockout. I didn't think it'd be as systematic as it was. Leg kicks and good boxing, good footwork. It wasn't just that he outstruck him; he devastated him and got that fourth round knockout, which was kind of weird to watch. Magny just fell forward, just like a tree in the woods. It's kind of scary, and he was down for a while. But what did you think of that one, Reen?
Man, that was tough to watch because he was constantly like it seemed like he was in pain every time he got kicked. He was backed up against the fence and the cage. And that's the thing. That was the only thing that was really helping him stand up.
Yeah, I
Giving
mean,
him a moment to like kind of regroup a little too.
yeah,
So
he put up a fight. Like, I don't think there was any real like 10-8 rounds exactly. It wasn't like it was a merciless beatdown. He tried to fight, but I mean, Ponzinibbio just wasn't having any of it. And he looks so improved. He looks so much more improved and so smart. If he
mhm.
keeps going this way, I think he can do pretty good. We'll see how he does with some of the wrestlers. If Askren's in the cards, or if he gets to a title shot with Woodley and some of these Covington, who knows? But as far as the striking goes, I think he can. I think he can compete with basically anybody there. But we're gonna move on from that, and we're gonna talk about this UFC card this weekend happening in China. I want to say it's in Beijing because I think it's the first time they go into like the mainland. I don't know many of the fighters on the card. I looked through it. I don't know many besides Overeem, who's in the co-main event against this Russian guy who's supposed to be really good. People in the know have said that this is a risky fight for Overeem, and if this guy really gets to him, could probably even end his career. But this is just all hearsay of what I've heard from the grapevine. But yeah, it is in Beijing, UFC Fight Night Beijing. But the main event, Curtis Blaydes versus Ngannou, a rematch of Blaydes' first fight in the UFC, which he lost. I don't know if I ever caught the fight live or if I ever rewatched it, but from what I hear, Blaydes was doing pretty good up until I think the third round where he ended up getting TKO'd or something. Blaydes, regardless of who that guy was, Curtis Blaydes now he's a force to be reckoned with. What he did, well, Ngannou's last win was over him, which is one of the craziest knockouts we've ever seen. And Blaydes' last win was over him, which was just a savage ground and pound elbows right to the forehead that had everyone feeling a little bit uneasy. It was
It's
almost
interesting, right? Though he's on this card. Sorry, I had to cut you off.
no,
That
no, no.
Overeem's on this card.
Yeah, and that was their yeah, that's kind of true. These last two losses were both brutal losses, and the main guys are yeah, those guys are in the main event. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that, but it's weird. Like the Blaydes when Blaydes knocked out over him, it was almost as unsettling as when Ngannou knocked him out. Even though Ngannou shot him into another galaxy, Blaydes just beat him down and kept beating him down. And by the time those elbows landed, you're just like, Jesus Christ, stop the fight. This is just so much damage that this guy took. But um, this is this is going to be an interesting match to say the least because people want to see how Ngannou is going to come back after that horrendous fight with Lewis, where he literally did next to nothing. And Blaydes has just been, man. I mean, I don't think he's a boring fighter or anything, but he's definitely workmanlike. But for a heavyweight, he has pretty good cardio. He's strong and he's just relentless. I think he'll be a bad matchup for Ngannou. It's just hard to say if he'll beat him, especially losing to him before. Who knows if he might have a little bit too much respect for him. But then part of me thinks Ngannou has no takedown defense because he's really not shown it. It's tough to tell. I'm gonna go with Blaydes because it's not even so much that I think Ngannou's a little bit mentally fragile at this point. It's that I think Blaydes is very mentally strong. Not just the stylistic stuff of the wrestling and how athletic and strong he is. Just him, he doesn't seem like he'll break easily. And it seems like Ngannou has possibly been broken already. So I think just on the mental edge is enough for me to give the fight to Blaydes. What do you think, Rena?
I think the same way, man. I mean, I hope Ngannou worked on his wrestling takedown defense, not just striking, especially if you're gonna get in the cage with, Blaydes. So, and then he has knockout power too. So it's gonna be an interesting fight if they keep it standing.
He was so tentative against Lewis, though. I have a feeling that if he did do the right thing and just he got with the U.S. Olympic wrestling team and just had these guys go after him and just drill all day, takedown defense, that even if he did do that, he did do all the right things, that he still might lose just because, okay, he stops all the takedowns, but he's not really willing to engage. I mean, how's he going to win a decision if, he doesn't want to strike? He's stopping, he's being defensive, but maybe he doesn't want to throw a strike because he's still going to be scared that he'll get countered or you know what I mean? That he's not going to be fully committed to the offense.
Yeah, I see that happening too. Gun shy. His confidence isn't really there. It seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a weird way to go. One of the most exciting heavyweight prospects we've had in a very long time. A guy that we thought would even be a superstar. The way the UFC was like, oh, this guy's gonna be like the next Randy Couture or something. People were gonna be next Brock Lesnar or something, and all of a sudden he just not the same guy as he was. It's weird sport. Weird sport. That tends to happen a lot.
Well, that's just people trying to paint this interesting picture. I mean, definitely he has an interesting story, right? But
yes,
trying to blow him up as such, and then it kind of affected him too. He's been at the performance center, right? But they never really worked with his wrestling. Like, that's just so odd to me. to
Yeah,
have
I think that
so
was
many
him.
coaches and whatnot, training partners there.
I think that was just him. I think it was just like, well, I'm just gonna do what I'm good at. And there's a lot of fighters that do that. It's just like, well, I don't really want to wrestle. It's good enough. I'm just gonna keep boxing. I'm gonna keep striking. I'm gonna keep doing strength and conditioning. I mean, that's just maybe just a discipline issue and just experience needed to know what's important and what's not, and what's necessary and what's not. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think it'll be a good fight. I don't think this one will be boring because I don't think Blaydes will allow it to be. Even if he just keeps taking him down and down, it's like, well, you're gonna see action. He is not just gonna lay on him, you know.
Oh yeah, and I think finally like there's a spark in the heavyweight division again.
A little bit, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
starting to feel it a little bit too. I think it's yeah, yeah. I'll agree with that. I think there's something at heavyweight when just like 2 years ago there seemed to be nothing. So
Yeah, a
that's
little dry, right? Now it's starting to like move along again. We got this little spark going on.
yeah, that's always good. And then of course there's like Bellator having the, although it's kind of a weird thing with the heavyweight Grand Prix. I mean, Fedor can win some kind of North American championship, which he's never really done. So, well, at least not in a meaningful way. So it's not just the UFC. It seems like it's kind of going all over. And then we'll see what's up with this guy that Alistair's fighting because, like I said, he's supposed to be good. But if this guy can viciously knock out Alistair, then we might have another contender like that, you know.
Yep, definitely. It's gonna be interesting, man. I hope.
We all hope, yeah.
I'm like looking at Alistair's name and I'm like, man, if something happens, maybe it's time to hang it up.
Yeah, I mean, I probably won't catch this live. Almost certainly I'm not, but um, I'm definitely gonna catch these fights, and then we'll see, depending on what's going on Twitter and what people are raving about. I'll see what other fights I want to see some of the women's fights, but that's just because it's like a mandatory for me to watch women's fights. But
It's
going,
always like early in the morning, right?
yeah, it's in China time, so it's like 3 in the
Yeah.
morning or something.
Oh man, I'll
Yeah.
be sleeping. I'll catch it
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's well, on Saturday we have another card that is happening. I don't know how many people are going to see it, but Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz are going to fight again in 2018. And I know nobody wants to talk about this because it's torturous to some people, but we're going to talk about it because it's Thanksgiving week and we don't want to be brought down with some of the negative bullshit that's been going on in the MMA world. So we're just going to talk at length about this because fuck it, why not? So, Irene, what are your thoughts, just in general?
Try not to laugh. Um,
I'll
I've been.
laugh.
um, it's finally here, part 3. I've been watching the conference and just their interviews and whatnot, and seen some of the training footage. And I don't know if Liddell should be in the cage again. He's pushing 50 almost. He's 48, 49 years old.
I think that's right. Yeah.
He looks like he's actually 58, you know, in
At least
comparison.
cognitively.
Yeah, in comparison to like Tito, like he looks really good, you
Well,
know?
Tito is younger, and it's weird because he's had so many surgeries, his back and his neck, and all this. But
Yeah.
he's never, whether it's because he quits early or he's just tough. He never really took that many. He never took that much damage. Even like Chuck, when he knocked him out both times, they were kind of like TKOs. It was just a lot of punches. The ref stopped it. It was not like I don't remember Tito ever being knocked out cold in his life. He's having some brutal knockouts like Little Nog, but that was because he got kneed in the body and Nog just beat the shit out of him and then kept punching him in the body even as he was on the floor. Like that was just like one of those savage, not exactly a knockout, but just like a finish. Like, ooh, that guy was just mean. But he's never just taken shots like that. He's definitely been hit in the head less than Chuck, but
The
it's
wrestling
weird.
though.
Yeah,
All those
wrestling.
years of wrestling and the On the
Wrestling stuff
body.
on the body, yes, of course, the body, but he's still a big dude. Tito's still very
Mhm.
big and very strong, and that does count for something, especially at this age where reflexes aren't all there, speed's not all there, and just the fact that they're older fighters, their fight IQ ain't all there because they're just kind of stuck in the past. They haven't had to evolve because they've just kind of been taking these big paydays based off of their names and whatnot. But I mean, this fight was supposed to happen in 2010. I think it was that Ultimate Fighter finale when Tito pulled out because of a neck injury, or according to Chuck and Dana, because he's a pussy or whatever. But I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen him, but I don't know, Reen. Like, when did you come across? When did you start getting into the sport? Did you watch the first two fights live, or was that before your time?
I watched the second one live.
Yeah, that was a big one. I think that was like the first UFC card that got a million pay-per-view buys. I could be wrong about that, but I'm almost certain that was one of the like first giant UFC card, because I remember me too. I mean, I was young. I was maybe like 16 at the time, but I knew who they were. I didn't know when it was happening, but I knew after that. Oh yeah, yeah, they were supposed to fight, and I knew they'd fought before. But yeah, that was a big. What, were you just like a casual fan at that point, or
I wasn't even really like a casual fan. Like,
you were like at a
my
party or something?
yeah, my friends wanted to watch fight, and I was like, all right, cool. That's cool. Let's get together and do this. And
You
I
just like
watched it. I was like, what the hell?
you just came across it kind of by accident or something.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've seen it before too, back in Japan, and when it was kind of like hush hush. But
Mm,
after that, like I never really like followed it until that night again.
gotcha. Yeah, I kind of have a similar. It was I was later on, but it was kind of a similar experience with me. I think the first pay per view that my brother and I always watch it, but I think the first pay per view we actually purchased was UFC 92, which was Rashad and Griffin when he was still champion. And the reason we got that fight was because I seen Rashad knock out Liddell in a very similar fashion. I went to a party, they were having the fights, and I knew who Chuck was. I'm like, oh, he's fighting. And then I seen this guy who I'd never heard of, this guy Rashad, knock him senseless. I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? And I didn't like him because I was a fan of Chuck and I knew Chuck. I'm like, oh, fuck this guy. I hope he loses. And I knew a little bit about Forrest Griffin. So when that fight happened, I was like, hey, well, this is supposed to be a good fight. You want to catch it? I'm like, at the time, UFC was like 35, $40. I'm like, well, fuck it. It's less than boxing. Let's watch it. We caught that one. And then I kind of didn't keep track really. And then when Rashad fought Machida, I saw who Machida was. Like, this guy looks interesting. This is gonna be a good fight. And I started paying attention again. And then UFC 100 rolled around, and then that's when I got hooked. And when all that, like after that, it's like I want to watch the next one. I want to watch the next one. And then when's the next fight night? When's the next pay per view? And then that's when I followed it like religiously. So I guess in a way, Chuck got me into the sport in one way or another. But I guess that's a story for many people.
Yeah, they definitely, brought it to the mainstream, and they're legends. And I don't know, sometimes legends just should just sit on their throne, I think.
Yeah, my older brother liked. I have two older brothers, but my older brother, I think he liked Tito when he was on top of the world and stuff. My other brother, the younger one, the younger of the two, he liked Chuck. So kind of between both of them, I always knew a little bit about the sport, and then once they fought, it was like okay, it kind of boomed, and then because of Chuck and Rashad and that whole deal, it all got me into the sport later on for me. But man, okay, so
That
there's
big
so
old
much.
sigh.
Well, there's so much to say about it, even though there's so little substance, and that's what intrigues me about this. So the crazy thing to me is that it's an 18 fight card. And I know Bellator can do 15, 16, 17, sometimes even 18 fight cards, but I don't know. To me, like this being your first event, Golden Boy MMA, like you'd think you'd want to dial it back. Why not just like 8 or 10 fights? Just have a few prelims and then have like 4 or 5 fights of the pay-per-view. It's a 6 fight pay-per-view card, and I'm looking at the card now, at least the pay-per-view portion. The only people I know on this card besides Chuck and Tito are Tom Lawler, Gleison Tibau, and Efrain Escudero. I have no idea who any of these other guys are. I guess Wallel Watson, he fought in the UFC a few times, but he got cut. Hasn't really
Mm-hmm.
done much since then. I mean, I know when you're not the UFC, there's only so much you can do,
Mm-hmm.
but I really don't know what I mean, I think I know what it is. I think it's Oscar De La Hoya, just a typical boxing promotion. Like, well, everyone knows what Chocolatito is. That's enough to sell it. So we'll just get fucking anybody to fill out the rest of it. But the question still remains: why are they having so many goddamn fights?
Yeah. Well, I know Deron Wynn. He's a NorCal guy. He trains at AKA. He actually helped DC prepare for Rumble.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Deron Wynn.
Oh, okay.
So I know him because he's been on a local scene for NorCal. And yeah, he did help DC prepare for Rumble, and he's still training with DC.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you want to check him out, his first fight was on Flow Combat. Um, he got like I think 45 seconds. He finished his guy in 45 seconds, and it was a huge deal. He's a prospect to definitely follow. So definitely check him out.
One more time. What was his name? I don't.
Duran Wynn, he's a wrestler too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he has that wrestling background. So I mean, I know Tom Lawler. He has experience. You know, he was in the UFC once.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
he's doing the wrestling, right? Pro wrestling circuit now.
I think he got a little bit involved in it. I know he's a fan of wrestling. I don't know how much he got involved in, but yeah, you might be right that he's a weird dude. And then he'd gotten that suspension from USADA, but I mean, I think we're all just at the point now where we're like, who really gives a fuck what USADA says? It's all kind of bullshit anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
I think he has 6 weeks left on his suspension, and the UFC just released him. We're like, yeah, we can't keep you around.
Well,
And
it was kind of like what they did with Frank Mir, although Bellator honored it, I guess, just because they're more established and they don't want like a bad rep. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that guy Duran Wynn is fighting Tom Lawler. Okay, well that's something to look out for. And Reen
yeah,
has a lot of experience with the regional NorCal scene, so I trust your word, and you should too.
yeah. I hope this helps propel his name. You know,
Yeah,
get him into like the big time because
definitely something.
he's like a mini DC. You gotta check him out. I mean, he's a short guy, big old stocky dude. He's just like DC.
Yeah,
So yeah,
well,
watch that
that's
for sure.
that's definitely a good sell. Okay, so there's something there. Efrain Escudero versus Clayton Tebow. It's a weird fight. I mean, Escudero never turned out to be what they thought he could be in the UFC. He was one of the first like legitimate Mexican fighters that they signed, but had some I guess unexpected losses and just never he got cut and he came back and got cut again. He just never turned out the way they wanted to. And then Tebow, I mean, I think at one point he was like on that Bisping level of like the most fights in the UFC or was one of the winningest lightweight. I think he still may have that record. He's I guess a legend in his own way of just how long he stuck around. But then he popped, he pissed hot, and then I think I don't know if he got cut right away after that or he got suspended and then cut. And then of course his age, and he wasn't doing that great at the end. But then again, people say that Khabib is not undefeated. He's what 27 wins plus a possible Gleison Tebow loss. I haven't seen that fight in a while, but I remember when I watched it live, I did think I was very shocked that Khabib won that decision. Very young Khabib, but I did think that he lost in the moment. So I don't know. I guess that one could be interesting. I don't know who's gonna win. I can't even tell you now. I haven't kept up with them to know enough of tell you certainly who could win or not. Maybe it may be a toss up at this point. I'm not bothering with odds right now for most of these. Um, which I guess just well before we get into the actual fight, because there's only so much we can do about that. Um, this it's just it's I love shit shows, but this is weird even for me. There's this video that popped up. I saw it on Twitter. This video of De La Hoya. Okay, this might be morbid, but I'm just gonna say it. This video, it almost seems like they have De La Hoya's family like held hostage off frame, like if ISIS is about to behead his wife or something, because he just looks so serious and so like remember the script, like don't fuck up, don't fuck up, and he just looks so nervous and so he's so ill prepared. He calls Chuck Liddell Chuck Liddell, which I know people have done, but
I was
at
laughing
this
at that
point,
too.
at this point in his career, you think someone would correct him or he'd at least know better. I don't know. That shit was so weird. And then he said like we have an 18 fight card. I can't remember everyone, but they're all here. It's like, and I did see in the comment, he might not have been lying. I think they were all there. It's like, why would you have these? The first four fights are amateur fights. Like, what do you? I I don't know. The logistics and the the accounting behind this makes like no sense. Like, I don't know how he expects to make money. And then the whole thing with the pay per view that it was 50 and then it was 40 and 30 and then I guess I don't know if tomorrow or Friday or all weekend they're gonna have that Black Friday sale where it's $20 and now people are like, well, will you pay $20 for it? I mean, I saw people on Twitter making that jokes like Delaware went from 50 to now basically like, what do you got in your pocket? It it's odd. I can't wrap my head around it. It reeks of desperation, but also just like I don't know. Like it's scummy, but it's also sad at the same time, which I don't know how that happens. You should feel bad for the fighters, and in a way you kind of do, but also you're just like, what the fuck is this guy trying to pull?
Right? Yeah, I know. I mean, I like Tito's message. He was actually on the Below the Belt with Brendan Schaub, and he's like, yeah, I just want to promote these guys that you don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully people know their name and we can help them out and help promote him and this and that. And he was actually interested in maybe helping Golden Boy out with the MMA portion and expanding that. So depending on what happens with this, he might go into that with him. And I think it would be a good idea if it is successful that Tito handles that part because he, De La Hoya, it seemed like this was his first rodeo, like as a promoter.
Yeah, like in general, right now, obviously his first time as an MMA promoter, but it seems like he didn't know shit about promoting in general, which makes no sense because he's been running Golden Boy for damn near 20 years now.
Right. So it looks so amateurish. And yeah, I mean, it just seems like a joke, to have everybody there. I mean, at least know your main guys, your co-main event, the main card.
Yeah, and then like he was partly involved in Affliction, which I wasn't too much into the sport at that time. I don't know how much of a hand he had in that. I mean, there was Mark Cuban and I think Trump and a bunch of people who had their hand in that. It was mostly just if we have more money than the UFC, then we can do better. And then it didn't really go that way. But you think he would have learned from that, or just comparing boxing, what he was successful in boxing, and comparing it to what's different about MMA and where it's worse and where it's better? It just almost none of it. It seems like, yeah, you're right. It's like he's never done it. It seems like he's regressed. He's
Yeah,
gotten worse. Even
yeah,
though it's a new thing, he should at least be familiar in some way.
yeah, man. Like I don't know what he was taking because he was sniffing.
Yeah.
Then about that conference, I'm like, man, you want something? I mean, is this why you like losing a little bit? Like you don't seem so sure of yourself. Like you've never done this before. So I don't know how it's gonna go. And then the whole pricing thing, I didn't even know that they were doing that. So that makes it even more of a joke.
Is it sad that I not because I think it'll be funny or cool, but is it sad that I secretly wish he was doing blow just to like, okay, at least it makes sense now.
Yes, you know what I mean. Like, okay, we get it. You
I'd
still
rather
on it.
I'd rather you be a drug addict than this, this horribly inept. Yeah, the price thing. Um, I kept thinking as I read more about it and the more I thought about it, like, when you order a pay-per-view on the internet or through your cable provider or whatever, you order it, it's like, oh, you just ordered UFC, 230 for 64.99. Like, are you sure you want to purchase? Like, yes. And then, okay, thank you. Enjoy the show. I have a feeling that when you do that, it's like you're about to purchase Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz 3 for 19.99. Are you sure you want to continue a purchase? Like, you press yes, and another window pops up. Like, are you absolutely sure? Do you want to buy Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz in 2018? And you'd be forced to think about it and then hit yes or no, and then proceed from there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Are they going to have a buy one get one free deal pretty soon too? Because Black Friday and whatnot. Like, what are they going to do now?
I wouldn't be
Something
surprised.
crazy?
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I think Fight, FITE, the Fight app is hosting them. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something, because sometimes they do that, like, oh, pre-order this event and you could get like $5 in credits. If they get real desperate and they reach out to them, they'll probably do some shit like that too. And man, it's I don't know. It's fun to talk about because I mean, it's silly. It's so incredible that this is happening, and it's happening in the forum. I mean, not to mention it's happening in my backyard. And for anyone that hasn't been to the forum, it's a magical place. I went to see the first time I ever went. I went to go see UFC 199, which is when Bisping obliterated Rockhold. That was just one of the greatest cards, definitely of that year, but definitely the best live card I've ever seen. And I knew it. I knew it as soon as I wasn't, frankly, I wasn't that excited for that card when it happened, because the card by itself, it just wasn't that great. But I'm like, well, it's in my backyard. I've never been to the forum. I'm always down for a fight, so let's go. And I knew the minute I stepped in there, you just feel like history. Like, Ali fought here. The Lakers played so many years here. There's, how many legendary rock bands have played here. There's like all these history in the floor and in the walls. And then, it had been shut down for a while, and it's only been coming back in like the past 10 years. And you just felt it. There's just an energy. And I have a hard time believing that they can, maybe the energy is not all I think, because I don't think it can save Tito or Chuck or this card in general.
No, I don't think so. And Tito's taking this really seriously. Like he wants this win, and Chuck's having a good time with it, and it's man. I don't know what to think really. It's fun, I guess. I mean, it's a fight, but do I really want to watch it? Will I pay for it? Hell no. I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna like
Not,
illegally stream it or something. Oh, sorry for saying that.
no, no, allegedly. Allegedly.
Allegedly. So, but yeah, it's just funny. I don't know if you've been watching any of the interviews, but
I saw one with Tito. I can't, well, he always just fumbles and says idiotic shit. So I've caught little highlights of it. It just makes me laugh. Chuck seems real serious about it, and he seems really fed up with Tito, which, what else is new? But I don't know. And then he was saying something. What I heard him say in one of the interviews was like, he was basically saying like this was a tough fight, kind of like, oh, I could have gone to any other promotion and gotten a bunch of money and gone like to pick just some random nobody and walk off with a guaranteed win and more money. But I'm choosing this for less guaranteed money and to beat a guy I've already beat twice. When nobody thinks I can do it. Like I don't know. It just seemed kind of odd. Like it kind of seems like the doubt is getting to him. Like the people are just like that whole thing of obviously people making fun of like his training footage and then people just being concerned about him in general. Like you shouldn't be doing this. And I haven't looked at the odds, but I'm guaranteeing that Tito's a favorite. I don't know by how much, but I mean,
he has to be because from the video I saw, like from the fighters picks, they're all going for Tito.
Yeah, I mean, just to me, I guess the big thing is just that he hasn't taken a lot of damage physically. Yes, as far as his back and his neck and years of wrestling and things like that have taken on him, but he's never been severely concussed. At least not noticeably. He's never been knocked out cold the way Chuck was against Rashad or against Rich Franklin or anything. But
yeah,
I don't know. I guess we'll just get into it. I guess picks Chuck or Tito.
Tito for sure. But I wanted to add one more thing too. Chuck, I heard Chuck saying that this is a possibly a tune-up fight for him.
He did say that.
Right? So that scares me too. Like, really? You're already thinking about taking additional fights?
Well, I mean, he's just that confident he can beat Tito. And he said, if I can't beat Tito, I have no place in this. I should retire. Which at least he has that sense, like, okay, it's not like, well, if I lose, it's just more reason to get back on the horse and work harder. Like, no, he knows, like, if I lose, I shouldn't be here. That's good. And I don't think Tito will hurt him really bad. I think he'll win, probably get a, I don't know, second round submission or something. But I don't think he'll hurt him too much in the process. But he's also damn near 50, so who the hell knows?
I'm hoping so too, that Tito doesn't, go all in on him.
And although he's also not fought in a long time, his jaw wasn't great towards the end. I mean, I guess you could say he's recovered a bit, but I don't think your jaw gets better at 48, 49, 50 years old.
Yeah, I think they're only like 4 or 5 years apart, but Chuck really looks like he's 58, almost 60.
Yeah, it's just the beatings, just cognitively, he's not all there.
Yeah, he hasn't really been taking care of his body because of all the partying too, and all that just adds up, man. And just, I don't know if you want to do this. And I hope Tito knows that. It kind of like doesn't go all in, pump the brakes a little.
And that was from back in the day too, the partying. And it wasn't like he was doing better towards the end, but but still, like that shit. Yeah, exactly as you say. That shit catches up to you. I mean, you would know with all the stuff that you do. You're definitely trying to keep your body in check with the way that you go about things, from what I've seen and things you've told me. Yeah. I'm out of shape, but I am at least a bit younger. I can say, like, well, it can turn around for me. Who the hell knows now? But I can always dream. All right, so I guess we're both going Tito. I'm going with a second round submission. What do you think?
Yeah, sub
somewhere down the line.
Actually, maybe first. No, yeah, I think second round. He'll probably want to put on a show.
Yeah, I think the first round might be just really boring. Just not really doing much, and then like the last 2 minutes they'll go at it, and then Tito will wake up somewhere in the second round, take him down, and get a rear naked choke or something.
Right.
Okay. Well, I wanted to make this show fun, and we definitely had our fun there. I do want to touch on something serious for the moment, and we're gonna end this with a funny story that's not MMA related, but it is Thanksgiving related. As most of you know, it's probably all of you hearing this know, there was a big story this week of Rachael Ostovich getting beaten by her husband, assuming ex-husband now. Who knows what the situation is on that. And as always with these situations, the the reactions from the MMA crowd are they tend to be good, but you always get those 10% or so of scumbags that like to mock it or play it down or you know do whatever these fucking guys do. But I just wanted to say there's been a lot of speculation lately um, with the guy that there's things that there's reason to believe that she cheated on him, and that's possibly why he reacted the way that he did, or just whatever. He's been abusive from the start, or who knows? Who knows? It's all speculation. And then there's a thing of where it seems like she, in a way or one way or another, seems to forgive him, and her brother did this Instagram post of like, "Don't judge people, and you should forgive, and God is powerful, and everything happens for a reason," type thing. And that is significant. This thing with Rachel, I think people are forgetting that Rachael Ostovich is a very religious person. Say about that what you will. Um, I don't have too much of a comment to say about that, but I will say that religion does have a place for some people, and it can really help them, and obviously it can really hurt them. And this seems like one of those situations where her optimism can be her downfall, at least as of now. But I'm not gonna go all in and say what some people are saying, that she's stupid if she takes him back, and she's already blaming herself, and she's not seeing how dangerous this is. This just happened a few days ago. You can't put all this on her to figure out immediately. But the main thing I want to say here is people need to remember that Rachael Ostovich has a kid, and she has a kid with this guy. Um, be whatever it may be, and whatever he did, that man is still this girl's father, and that girl's gonna have to live knowing what her dad did to her, to her mom, and who knows what else she's gonna go through. I just want to end this by saying that Rachel is not in the right state of mind. Whether it looks like she's forgiven him or not, it's not fair to say that she's for sure going to do this and that we should jump on her for this or defend her for that. None of this is for certain. All we know is that the guy was arrested. He was charged with attempted murder, which is supposed to show how bad it was. And Rachel said that she was coughing up blood and have a fractured orbital. It was definitely serious. And hopefully with time she can be rational about this. She already has the automatic 6 month 6 month restraining order. When that time comes, and that's due, if she renews it, if she moves away, if she gets out of whatever she needs to get out of, he's still in jail, whatever the situation is, we can judge her then. But I don't think it's right to judge her now, especially it's not just that she's a victim of abuse, it's that she's a mother, and she's probably trying to figure out what's best for her daughter, which isn't easy for anybody to do in any situation, but much less given the trauma that she just went through. Is there anything you would want to add, Reen, or anything I missed, or anything you disagree with?
No, I just hope that everybody just shows support and really think about the daughter in the situation.
Yeah, that's definitely the most important.
Yeah, I think that's what we keep forgetting, that she's a mom.
Yeah,
So
it's easy to say. I mean, that's the other thing, is that this thing affects. I mean, yeah, and before all you crazy male rights activists get at me, yes, men go through domestic abuse too, and that's an issue as well. And I don't care whether you're a mother or father. I mean, it's always going to affect the kids. It's not good to be with someone like that in general, and there's always repercussions. But it seems like it's easy to blame the woman or make fun of or jump at her because it's how stupid can she be? But it's like, well, when there's family involved, sometimes you're not thinking clearly, and in being too optimistic, you think you make things more dangerous. But there's a reason for that optimism. It's not just that she wants to be with a man or this man. It's that maybe she just doesn't want the daughter to lose out on the dad. You never know. She's going to jail, presumably for a long time, and that's probably for the best for everybody. Definitely, so he doesn't harm anybody. But that's its own situation in itself. If anything happens and he gets out, hopefully she's never harmed again. But one never knows, and hopefully she doesn't take him back. But at this moment of what she's saying, you can't take it at face value because it's not anyone speaking in their right mind.
Yeah, there are too many people run on emotions,
Yes.
And that's what is, I think, out in the media right now. Her family speaking up about it. Even her, like, really posting things about it too.
Yeah, it's not really the time for that, but
no, it's
too
not.
late.
Yeah.
Too late,
I mean, and I can't remember how old the daughter is, but
she's, I think, 5, if last time I read correctly.
okay. So she's still young. Hopefully, people won't talk about it at school because those things happen.
Yeah, I mean, her mom's not a celebrity. She's not Kim Kardashian, but especially in Hawaii, it seems like a tight knit community. I'm sure they know who she is. Plus,
Right.
I mean, she's got the Instagram follows too because she's hot.
Right.
Yeah.
So hopefully, just people pump the brakes, man. Just give her time. Just stop with the hate. You don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. You've never been through that. Some people have, but every situation is different, right?
Different, yeah, exactly. Even if you've been through it, you didn't go through that particular. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who knows what she went through? Who knows if the daughter saw it? So, like, just be kind, man. Just be kind.
Yeah, so many factors that we don't know that can make it so much. Almost none of it's going to make it better, but so many things that can make it worse.
Right? I mean, it's already done. He did what he did. It's been done. Now give her time to figure this out.
And it seems
we don't need to be attacking her.
Yeah, and it seems like he'll be punished. So I mean,
yeah,
no need to go further from that. I think so. Thank you for your input, Reen. Before we go, I wanted to leave on this one story. As I mentioned earlier, it's not MMA related, but I find it quite humorous, and it is Thanksgiving related in a way because of the history of this American holiday. So as I read the story this morning of a guy, a 27-year-old American man, who went to a remote Indian island with the intent to convert these desolate indigenous people. They're full on, like, straight out of a movie, with the loincloths and bows and arrows and shit. He was fully intent on converting them and was going towards his people with the Bible, trying to teach them the word of Christ. And presumably in their own language was telling him to keep away and to stop. Nevertheless, he persisted. He kept coming towards them, and they ended up shooting him with a bunch of arrows. And he continued. He got shot a few times, and he still kept walking forward. Like, he was that determined to teach him the teachings of Jesus Christ. And he got shot a few more times, and he died. I think that's so poetic that this happened. I don't know if it happened today or yesterday, but this American guy was so intent on teaching indigenous people his religion and ended up getting killed for it. That wasn't the story on this land, because those indigenous people got subjugated and got killed here. But he tried to do it on foreign land, and it didn't work out for him.
Oh my God. Yeah, when you sent me the story, I'm like, oh wow. Wow. I mean, it's illegal to go there.
Yeah, I mean, even Indian people, even people in India, they know of these people and they won't fuck with them because they're fucking crazy. There's no need to go there. These people cannot be domesticated. They're like wild cats, It's like,
and the
it's like trying to tame
fishermen.
a zebra.
Yeah, and then the fishermen, like boldly took him over there. Well, if you pay him well enough, I guess anybody would, right? But
Yeah.
but I'm like, what the hell, man? Really? Uh, I don't know. People do strange things
Yeah.
with their, due to their beliefs or whatever. But I mean, it's, it's illegal to go there, man. There's a reason why. So
Yeah, I mean that's
I'm not
I
trying.
I constantly
Sorry.
go on about American exceptionalism. I constantly say it's the best and worst thing about us. We do horrible things because of American exceptionalism, and we do wonderful things because of American exceptionalism. Um, I don't know if this is wonderful or horrible. Obviously, it ended up bad for the guy, but I like that this is an instance where American exceptionalism was is quite hilarious. You know, the guy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel bad the gentleman that died, but it's like, come on, there's certain places you should not go. You should not try to convert people.
I mean, this is how crazy this is. I mean, there's plenty of inmates and gang members and former who have been rehabilitated and now preach the word of God. You can go to the hood in America and teach Jesus, and they might listen to you. They might kick you out, but they're probably not going to shoot you. That is not the case with, you know, uncivilized, uncivilized indigenous people on a remote island in India.
Right? Yeah, they have no concept of money or anything like that. Like,
Yeah,
who are you? We don't care.
yeah. I mean, if the Indian population at large couldn't get to them, it's very nice to think that some young American with his book is gonna convert all these people. But as I said, American exceptionalism is quite the thing.
Crazy, man. Craziness, that power, that the religion.
Yeah, yeah. It's as I said with Ostovich too. I mean, it's a thing. It's a powerful thing. It can also be an insane thing and a very
Hmm.
stupid thing.
Yeah, depending on how you utilize it, right?
Yep, it's all in the way you use it,
Yep.
as the ladies tend to say. Well, we're gonna. I think we're gonna end it here. I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. Hope you guys eat a lot of good food. Don't get in too many fights. Try not to bring up politics if at all possible, especially at this day and age. I hope you just have a good time, have safe travels, and enjoy your holiday. Also, I've gone to work on some of the accounts. So there is a iFox with Juice account now on Twitter, at iFox with Juice, as it's always spelled. Um, Gonna work on Instagram soon. SoundCloud has been a bit updated too. You can go on SoundCloud under the same name, iFox with Juice, and you can always listen to the show there. And of course, you can always get to us uh, on Twitter at Juice underscore MMA, Rina at Fox with you. Give iFox with Juice a follow too if you listen to this. Can definitely use the support right now. And thank you guys for sticking around. As I said, happy holidays, and I hope you guys are well. Until next week.
Yep. Peace out, guys. Thanks for listening to us bullshit. I cuss. I know I've been trying to like not cuss on this, so
I've cussed a lot, so we're all good. No
yeah.
worries.
Okay. Well, I cuss a whole lot outside of this, so I'm just trying to simmer it down. But I don't know, you might see more of my personality come out as we continue to do this.
Yeah, we're still
So
warming up, but it'll
yeah.
come out. No worries. I don't think anyone's offended, especially after we just laughed at a guy who got shot with bow and arrows
Maybe
for
after
converting
this.
people.
Maybe
Yeah,
after this. I don't know, man. Some people are sensitive.
yeah, they're not welcome on here. They'll gladly show we'll gladly show them the door.
Yep.
But again, thanks you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving and catch you later.
See ya.